Hello there, good afternoon. Hope you're doing good and waiting for the class, right? So let's get quickly started with exception handling and handling files in Python, right? So we just touched exception handling in the previous lecture, but we did not complete it. So today I'll show you why do we require exception handling and why do we require except and try catch blocks, right? And now let's get quickly started. And to get started, we'll do something like this. I'll simply read and write to a file. So let's start reading and writing to a file directly, right? And then I'll give you the definition and maybe a bit of theoreticals as well, right? And to get started with files, we require something like this. So I'll say file handle, right? So I'm declaring a variable here, file handle, right? And I'll say is equivalent to open. Open means I am going to open a file, and to open a file I need to give an address of the file and mode, read and write and every single thing. So I need to open a file, for example test file, or I can say I have a folder known as E. I have a folder in E column, my files, and I want to open a file test.txt. So this is my file address, right? So I want to open this file. For example, if I go to my E column, and you can see my files folder here. So it has many files, but it does not have any tests. Yeah, it has tests, so I'll delete it, right? So for example, it doesn't have test, or it can have test, right? So in case if the test file does not exist, right, what we got to do is I will just apply a second parameter, which is R. R means write. Write means even if the file doesn't exist, yet is going to create the file. Right, so even if the file does not exist, yet file is going to be created. Why? Because the mode is R, right? Not R, W. W means it is going to write to the file. R means it's going to read from the file. So let me save this and directly run it, right? Now you can see we are getting an error, open, right? No such file or directory, right? Because you're trying to open a file which does not exist. Now I will go and open, I will create a new text document, and I call this as test, right? So now the file exists here, right? So let me now compile it again and run it again. Now you can see that the file open is success now. So file has been opened successfully. Now in case if the file does not exist, I can yet create a file. For example, let me just tell you, I have closed the file, so I'll say close. Let me show you this as well. So I'll say file handle dot close. Alright, okay, now it's not defined, so yeah, it is going to create a problem for me. For example, let me tell you this, this file, if it does not exist, right, I'm trying to open a file in E column. My drive is E and the folder is my files. I go to E column, right, and then I go to my files, and then I open this. So now if the file does not exist, let's say test Python. Now this file does not exist, right? Okay, now this file doesn't exist. Now we're getting an error, no such file. Now if I change this R to W, right, so because we are writing to this file now, so despite of the file, if the file doesn't exist, and despite of its non-existence, the file is yet to be created. Alright, so now this W will create a file inside my files, testpython.txt. So let me see with W whether the file is created. Yeah, no error. You can see that W gives us no error, which means now if I go and see the test file or test Python has been created. And now once it is created, now if I go and say R, now you can say that my file is, I'm reading to the file, or the file is read completely fine. Alright, so write is W, it's used to write to the file, and read is R, it's used to read from the file. Alright, so now I can say file handle. Once I have opened it, alright, I will write to the file. So I'll say dot write. So I am going to write to the file. For example, if I write anything to the file, I will say this is my test file for exception handling, right? So this is the text file. So this is what I'm writing to the file, this txt file, right? So I'll just go, and now you can see IO unsported operation not writable, right? Now it has created an exception for me, all right? Right? It has created an exception. Now if you want to handle that, right? For example, if I say I want to read from the file, and let's say about pp.txt, and the file does not exist, still it is going to create an exception. So we have two type of exceptions that are yet to be handled. So for that, I will keep this in try block. Right, I'll keep the code which is causing the exception in try block. And then what I will do, I'll try and execute the code, and in case if the code generates any sort of exception, I will say if there's an exception, which is exception, if there's an exception, right, and that sort of exception is going to be IO. Now you can see that IO exception has been caused right here. You can clearly see IO unsported operation. IO means input and output, right? So now the dogs have started barking again. So the moment I start the class, they start barking. Where do they get this energy from? They are full of Python. They might have seen a Python, right? So now this exception is IO, right? ERROR. So I can say IOE. Now you can see if you hit the control space bar, and if you want to see which exception I need to catch, you can say IO error or import error, or you can say IOERROR. IO error is clearly caught here, right? And even if you don't know the spelling or you don't know the syntax of the error, you can type I and hit the control key. I repeat, keep the control key pressed and hit the space bar. Now you can see it will automatically come. Press the control key. After writing the first letter, press the control key, keep it pressed and hit the space bar. IO error is going to automatically come. So now we are catching this exception right here. All right. And what if you catch an exception? Okay, it does not require colon here. So what if you catch an exception? What do you want to do? I will say print, right, error. That's it. Now let us see what we get. Now we are getting error. We are not getting this traceback error from the Python itself. We are getting a user-defined error right here. All right. Okay. Now, for example, if I read from test.txt, and now you can see I'm still getting this error. Why am I getting this error? Let us see what the error is. So I'll say IO error as E, and I can stack trace it. I can say give me E, right? Give me E, right? So for example, this is an alias to error. You're accepting, you're catching the exception as E, and now you want to see what the exception is in a user-defined manner, not writable. It's clearly showing you that this is not writable. So you might have to change this read to write and then execute the same. Now you can see, right? Now you can say that it's been successfully executed. Now in case if it is successfully executed, I can say print, right, write success. Right, so I can even say write success without even closing it. Okay, now we are getting write success right here. Now if I go and open the file test, right, nothing is here. Which file are we writing to? test.test.test Python. No, we are writing to test. Okay, fine. We're writing to test.txt, and we are writing file handle.write. This is my text file for exception handling, and write. Okay, fine. And then we are handling the exception here in case we're having the problem, so it should work. Right, it should not have any other problems, right? Let me see what else can we do in file writings. Okay, it should be able to execute it. right, should be able to write to the file. So since we are writing to the file, W means a write mode and A means append mode also. Let me try append mode as well and see what happens. Yeah, write success. If I go to test, yeah, it does not have anything. I don't know. Actually, it has a problem. So let me again see open my files test.exe, and this is write mode. And then I say file handle dot write. Okay, so we are writing to the files, right? Okay, so we have written, no problem. Right, and that is absolutely no problem here. Then why do I get this error? Okay, I haven't closed it. Okay, fine. So we have to close it down here. Alright, and then I say, doesn't matter whether you write or you do not write. So I'll say close. Right, so you are opening the file, so you have to close it back in order to see. Yeah, I can see that this is my test file for exception handling. We have been able to write. Now what are we doing here is we are simply closing the file. Here you are opening the file, right, and then you have to write and then close that file, right? For example, now if I don't close the file, for example, right, so I will write to the file. Alright, so now write a success. Now if I try and delete this file, you can see the action cannot be completed because the file is open in Python. You can clearly see that the file is open in Python. This error is coming because you have not closed the file. Now let me try and close it. I'll call the handle, right, and I'll say close it. Now if I close it and then I go and delete, you can see the file is gone. If I delete test Python, the file is gone. So now you have to close it using both. It doesn't matter, right, because you are opening the file, and then if an exception happens, right, this file is yet to be closed. That means if it is success or even if it's an error or an exception, in both ways, right, be it an error or be it a success, considering both ways, you have to close the file. That is why I will say else here. So else is going to execute, either try is going to execute or except is. Both are not going to execute, right? If there is an exception, we are going to have this except block being executed. If there is no exception, we are going to have this try block being executed. But in both the ways, whether there is an exception or not an exception, right, we have to close the connection, and for that I am going to use else. It's just like finally in other programming languages. So I'll say else, and now inside else I'll say file handle dot close. So let me see this now. Now we have created it. Now you can go and see what is the file name. That is test. Okay, so test is again here, right? This is my test file for exception handling, right? So this is your, and now even if I want to read only, so you can say read only. But yeah, if I say write, and now if I say writing something again, right? So you're writing something again and execute it, and I go back and check writing something again has replaced. Now what it is doing, it is replacing what it already has. What if I want to keep whatever is in the file, I want to keep it intact, and then I want to add something else. For example, if I write to the file now and I open this test file, which is here, now it is going to have, this is my test file for exception handling. Now I want to write something else, right? So I don't want that to go. I will say dot in exception handling, right, we either, right, get the try block executed or the except block, right? So we either have the try block being executed or the except block. Now if I execute it like this, it's going to open the file and it's going to write to the file a new string. I don't want to write, I want to append, and for that I will just keep a means append, keep the old data and add the new data, right? So now we are appending, and let me show you and let me see whether it's successful or not. Now you can say this is my test file for exception handling. In exception handling, we either get the try block executed or the except block, and by both the means we have to close the file. Doesn't mean if try runs or except runs both the ways, we have to close the file down. And what are other modes of this, right? So you have to understand what is an exception. I'll give you the definition. You take a note, take pen and take copy and take a note of this. This is going to help you in interviews and in exams also, right? So an exception is an event which occurs during the execution of the program that disrupts the normal flow of the program's instructions. In general, when a Python script encounters a situation that it cannot cope with, it raises an exception. An exception is a Python object that represents an error. When a Python script raises an exception, it must either handle the exception immediately, otherwise it terminates and quits. So if we are not able to handle the exception is terminated, or the statement is terminated, or the statement quits. Now, handling an exception, if you have some, anything, anywhere you find any suspicious code that may raise an exception, you can define your program by placing the suspicious code in a try block, right? And after that include an except statement followed by a block of code which handles the problem as elegantly and as possible, right? So this is, now what is except block? Except block is the block of code, right, which is going to contain the error handling code. We can execute specific codes for specific exception, right? We can group certain exceptions, we can have common handlers for exceptions. If you do not have a handler for exception, the exception is passed to the higher level of the try block, right? And as I said, this is for the error handling, and this is for the suspicious code that you think may generate or may cause an exception at times, right? Okay, and if you do not know the exact exception that you have to catch, for example, in my case, I have to catch exact exception, which is IO error. Now, for example, if I don't know the exception that I have to catch, because float may create an exception as I've shown you earlier. So for that, you can write EXCEPTION exception and E as E, and now you can clearly see that it is going to show us the same thing, not writable, right? It's again showing the same thing, right? Or if you know the specific exception, you can call the specific exception, which is in our case input and output, which is IO, input and output exception, that we can also do, right? And what else can we do, right? We're not learning files, because we have to learn, once we deal with files, we have to learn many things. That is coming, of course, in the coming lectures, dealing with Excel files, writing to spreadsheets, reading from spreadsheets, analyzing, right? Spreadsheets, CSV files, which are comma separated values, TSV files, tab separated values, JSON, which is JavaScript object notation, and many more things. But today's class is only exception handling. And we are looking and checking, or we can say we are, learning this exception, this file or file handling, wherein we have learned how to open the file, how to read from the file, and how to append to the file. Right? So append, in the case we want not to delete the code which is existing, but we want to write to the code. Right? So that is what our job as a professional is, and this is what the job should be. I told you that we don't want to be developers, we don't want to be programmers, we want to be professionals, right? So there is a lot of difference between a professional application and sorry, and an ordinary application, right? So we have to handle these exceptions. There are many softwares. Why don't we have some big softwares being developed from Kashmir? Or why don't we have something dramatic and something very professional coming from Kashmir? It's only because of the fact that we tend to lose temper. We are not patient enough, right? We are developing software as per our convenience and happiness, as per our contentment, right? But the software has to be developed taking in view the customer's requirements. Requirement engineering is a very big topic in software engineering, right? So that's why one of the best things in your software is how user-friendly your software is. Are you ever trained? Were you trained when you got your first Android application mobile? Were you trained, right, when you purchased your first Android mobile? No. Right? But yeah, once computers were launched, we had to do training, how to shut down, how to start, right? And now, why aren't we trained for using mobile phones? Because mobile phones guide us through, right? Help is there, user-friendly messages are there, what to do, what not to do is there. So softwares, they guide us through now. So that is where All right, we have to do many different things. Now, for example, if I have a read mode now here, so let me get rid of this code in here. Now, for example, if I have read mode, so I'm reading for the file. Now, what do I do? Right, so I'll say s is equal to I did right, and I will do a read now. So we are reading file handle dot read, right, and now we can see I can print this out what we are reading from this test.txt. Now this is what we are reading from this file. This is my test file, or exception handling. For exception handling, we either get the try block executed or the except block. All right, so now we are reading from the file. You can say file handle.read goes to string, and now we can handle it in different ways. Now I can now start doing data manipulation, SPLITs, you can call split, and you can call many different things. Now you have splitted it. Now you can do your job, whatever you have to do. You can say print s right 1, and you can start doing whatever you have to do, right? So you can do this, or you can do something like this. You can say s1 is h and everything else, right? Or you can convert it. So you can say let's say about l, okay, we can say L list. You can convert it to list, or we have already seen that, so it's going to be waste of time. Sure, you can add that to list, right? And we have already seen that, right? But anyways, so this is how we read from file, right? File handle.read, and this is how we write to the file, right? And now read and write has two differences. Write is going to create a new file, whereas read is not going to create a new file for you. Append is going to append to the file that is already there, right? And it's going to keep the current text intact, right? Okay, right. And now instead of this else, it will be better if I use finally, right? It is going to be better if I use finally, right? So what this finally does the same thing, but it is most important thing right here. Now what is your main job? Your main job is to open the file. So I'll just keep it here. It is not going to create an exception, or maybe it's going to create an exception. Yeah. So we are going to open the file, read from the file, or we are going to, let's say, about write to the file. Okay, let me just do a control Z and let me get the right back. Yeah. So now we are appending to the file right here, and instead of else, I'm using finally, right? So now instead of A, let me use R. Now see this. Now not writable. Now this finally block, what this finally block is going to do, right? It doesn't matter whether try gets executed or except gets executed. This is something that you want to do, right, in both the conditions. The condition can be either try or except. Both can never be executed, right? Either there's an exception, or there is no exception, right? But this finally block is going to be used for both the things, right? So exception, okay, print this, still finally block is executed. No exception, still finally block is executed, because you want to close the file by any means. So this is also what I have shown you. R read mode, R write mode, right? And yeah, W and A modes would allow writing to the file, right? And in W mode, an existing file will be truncated and created if it's not existing. In A mode, the writing would happen at the end of the existing file, right? A mode would create the file if it was not existing. That means both A mode and W mode are going to create the file if the file does not exist, right? Right, and okay, we can say fo.write we have seen. So why don't I show you something like this? So I can say testing lines. We still have write, and then we have write lines also. Let me have this write line. So we have write success. Now you can see this write lines, testing lines. It's still going to append it, right? So it's going to write to next line, right? And we have offset, cursor, right? and we have many different things that we have to be taken care of, right? For example, if I say all right, so if I say now read, so I'll say read and I will say s is equivalent to read, right? And I'll say print. Now you are getting not readable. Why? Okay, s is equivalent to file handle dot read, so you'll have to apply r here, and now you're reading it. Now if I say before reading, I will say file handle, which is this. I'll say file handle. Let's say I'll say file handle dot seek. Right. I will say o double f set offset 0, and now let us see what do we get. I'll say o double f set, which is right there. Right, so you are reading it from 0. Now if I say 10, now you can see, now you're reading it from, this is my test file. So now 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? So you're skipping now. You're starting from 10th character. So this is what this seek is going to do. So it has to happen before read, right? And now you're starting from 10th character, right? So this is also available, or this is also possible. Write lines is also possible. Writing from a specific offset is also possible, right? And there are different things which are still possible, right? Give me a second. I'll see that what is next in your syllabus and come back in just 1 second. Okay, then let's get started with a new thing today. File handling is done, and exception, I hope you have understood exception handling as well. So let me show you some different things, right, in Python. For example, we have a sentence. I call this sent as in sentence. So for example, I can say hello, how are you? All right, and I can make an excluding sentence. I'll say ESSENT, X sentence is equivalent to, for example, let me create a set here. So I can say this, and this, right? Okay, it has gone out of the set, so let me take it back to the set. All right, for example, I want to find is, I want to find are, and I want to find what, I want to find why, maybe whatever I want to find it. For example, so I can say words. Now I have to break this sentence to words, right? Keywords or words. Word is hello, how are you? So I want to break it to words. So I can say is equivalent to sentence dot split. So if I say split, right, and I can say print words. Now let us see what do I get. We have taken the sentence and broken it down. Hello, how are you? Right. So this is quite easy, and this is understood as well, right? Now we have broken it, right? So for example, I want to find it now, all right? For example, I can say words have been splitted, and let me show this. So I can say now set. I can say word set. Right, so let me not print this first. So I can say word set is equivalent to set of words. So I made a set of words so that we don't have duplicates. Yeah. So now once we have set of words, right, I can create out of set. I can create a list of words. So I can say my list is equivalent to a list of let's say word, or we can say, let's minus it first because I want to exclude them, right? For example, I want to exclude these letters. You know, at times you have to filter. For example, if you're developing a site and your boss tells you I need a platform wherein I can filter, I don't want to accept certain filtered words, right? I don't want to accept bad words, right? There are some bad words, so he wants to filter them. So now what is the process? How are you going to let's say about filter those things? Okay, so to filter those things, there are certain requirements. Now we have words, and now we have to minus. For example, is there? No. Is not. Are, yes, are is here. What is not here? Why, and why is even not here. So are is here. Are is here rather. So I want to exclude it. So now we have made words. We splitted them. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 splitted words, and we have exclusive set, right? So now I have done word set, which is the set of words, right? If I print it, so you'll be able to see WORD SET. So I can say word set, and I can immediately print. I say PRINT is print. Hello, how are, hello. What is hello, how are you? Okay, it's basically we have done words. Word set is equal to set of words. So you're getting hello, how is not there, hello. Okay, it's basically what is happening here is once you go with set, you know that set is not going to index words because it is not following indexing. It does not follow, as I told you, that it's not sorted. Set is not going to sort your words like list, right? But yeah, we don't want that. So now I can say my set is equivalent to, I can even say very easily, I can say I have this word set, right? And please minus the exclusive sentence here, right? So the moment you say, right, and then what you can say print my set. Now you can see that it is being removed, filtered. Hello, R is removed because R is falling under exclude, or we can say is falling under the words which are meant to be excluded, right? So R does follow under that which is meant to be excluded from here. Fine. Okay, so now you're excluding this R, right? So since you have you see that it's been already excluded, but yeah, what I want this to be sorted down. Still not sorted. Now what I can do, I can sort it back, right? So you can call my list is equal to list of this my set, right? So now when I call this list of my set, I can say my list dot sort. You can sort it and you can print my list. So now you can see you have filtered. You created hello, how, R is removed. Now if I remove R from this excluded dictionary, so you can see this hello, how are you? But I say no, I want to exclude these words, right? So this is possible only with sets, right? If you want to do it very nicely. Otherwise, if you want to use a for loop, so that's also possible. But yeah, hello, how are you is a sentence. Exclude or we can say excluding in the sentence or filter. So I can say filter. Let me say filter, right? So FI, or we can say FLTR. FLTR means filter. Now what I say, words assigned to words with an assignment operator out of the sentence and split. Now this sentence is going to split it and create, right, a list out of it. So position number 0 will have hello. Position number 1 is going to have how, 2 R, 3 U, right? And then filter is going to take these words. And now once you split, you have these words now. Then you say word set is equivalent to words. These words are going to a set now, right? Because set is something that does not follow indexing, right? It's not going to sort them down. We have already seen that in the past as well. The set is not going to sort it down. So now what I do, and then I say word set, which has set of words, which are these words, right? Minus what is excluded, right? So I am going to minus what is in filter. Filter is minused from word set and goes to set. Since its set is not sorted now, what I want it to sort it down. So I'll take it back to list and say sort and then print. So this is how it's going to exclude, right? So I can print it here. For example, I am developing a backend, or I am developing a website for any government sector wherein everyone is coming and commenting. I don't want to take bad words. right? So I will write, for example, someone writes Pagal department, right? Someone writes Pagal department. So Pagal is filtered. Now, if you can see that only department is coming, Pagal is not coming, it's being filtered, right? So this is how we use this technique, right? But yeah, it's a bit lengthy because list you are using only to sort, and set you are using, it's only possible with sets to use this minus. It's not going to be used with lists, right? So this is how it works, right? And it's a very good thing, right? Isn't it? Right, yeah, it's absolutely best to use it this way, right? And if you want to print them right in a single line without a list, for example, I can say I'm taking sentence as an input. So I can say input, enter a sentence. I'll just take sentence from the user, right? And let me create it a bit user friendly. And now I'm taking the sentence. I will say what I'm filtering these words. So Pagal, mad, right, insane, and we can say lazy. Maybe you can filter mode, or we can say you can filter more, you can say bad words. So it depends on what you are going to filter. Right, so I can say this department is absolutely, right, I can say mad. I can say, right, absolutely department is this. So we are not getting a sorted thing right here. Why aren't we getting a sorting thing? We had said my list is okay, my set is equivalent to my list dot sort, and then print my list. So why aren't we getting it sorted? So just a moment, should be sorted. Hello, how are you? Yeah, we're not getting it sorted. Hello, how are you? So we're not even getting it sorted. Why? What happened? Split, minus it, give it to set, take the set to list, and then say my list dot sort, and then let's say L is equal to my list dot sort. I can say L, right? What is that? This mad, right? So you are getting none. Okay. Okay, we are going to get none here. So if I say my list, so let me see, what is this mad? Is this what? So let me use a loop here rather than printing. So let me create a complete system now. So I'll say forward in my list after the list has been sorted, right? So I can say use it like this. Print word, and I don't want to go to next line, so for that I'll say end is equal to, because I don't want to go to next line. So what is this mad all about? So you can see that you have to still maybe use a bit of space in here, right? So what is, you can say, is what? So we're still not getting it sorted. I suppose we've done something wrong. Somewhere we are doing something wrong. Alright, so if I, instead of taking it as input, so if I say what is this mad, now if I print, so is this what we're getting? Okay, we know that we're not getting mad, filtering is working, but yeah, it is basically not sorting it. Right, so why isn't sort happening? I don't know. My list is equal to, so words is splitted, word set takes set, and we say my set, and then we make a list of my set, and then we say sort, right, and then we say sort. Okay, so now if I say this, sorry, it's not iterable here, Okay, let me see that still we are having this problem in here. I'll have to try. I'll have to try something different right here. All right. Yeah, we have to do that, because it is now going to create some problems then. All right. Okay. Because we have to see what we can achieve here. But yeah, we still have some problem that sort is not working, right? Let me try it in some other way. Alright, so let me say that we have the sentence right here, right? And the sentence says, hello, how are you? And then we have the filtered words. We can immediately say word is equal to sentence.split split. The moment we split, we convert it to list directly. Let's say long length. So we want to find the long length here. So no, this is not going to do. Okay, let me try this. Alright, so let me try this here in some other way. So if I say print word and then I say words dot count, how many times the word has been written, right? Words dot count of word. Alright, so we can try this right here. WOR words, so we can use print word in WORDS, print word in words. So this 1 times, that is 1 times, and what is 1 time. So this is what we can find actually, but still we have this problem that has to be solved. Right, that we need to sort it down. Let me take a look at time first. What time is it? So we're still at 42. Let me take a look at time again. How much? Yeah, and meanwhile it's not going to. I don't think it's going to do that, right? Because let's take a look at what this sort does. Sort is going to sort it out as per the length. This is 4. What is 4 and is 2. So let's take what is 5, this is 4, and this is 2, and this, and let's create 3 0 0 0, and let's see what is happening here. 4 times and 3 times, and it's all haphazard, but the moment we say sort, now we can see we're going to get the smallest one. Yeah, 2 digits will come first, then 3, then 4, and then 5. This is what the sort is doing. We had some wrong conception. Meanwhile, we don't use this process for sorting, right? So, but there is a possibility we can still do this. But yeah, better would be that we can use a loop, because this sort is going to sort automatically as per the length of the word, right? And if the question is, for example, I want to find the total length of the word, right? So how do you achieve that, right? Or if I want to print, for example, in a loop, for example, if I want to print for word in my list, so this is what I want to print, and I can say print word, how many times the word has been repeated. Is this what this is for, right? So I can say, or I can say count of words. Length is basically for string, so count of words. No, it's not words, right? Yeah, it's words, and we have to words dot count. It's basically words dot count and word. Fine, so now it's going to count the word. Okay, now what we are doing here, we are looping through right here, and we say that print word is going to be 1 by 1, right? And then count word dot count, whatever is in this word. For example, first time if I have done sort, now the first time it is going to have is. What is the count of this width. Count means how many times this is being used in the entire list, right? So let me show you this. Is one time. So now if I say I use is again here, so how many times is being used? So now you can see is used 2 times right here. And now if I use o again, or you can say o again, so now you can see o has been used 2 times here, right? So that is why words.count. For example, if I say I don't want this, I want count of total words, right? And I want it in a complete set. Fine. For example, what do I have here? I have a list, right? So that is my list, right? And then you want to say, let's say about I will comment it down. For example, I will say print, right? I'll say count my list dot count of any particular word. So I'll say is. So is, right? So it is going to count. Is for one time, right? My list, but how many times in words, right? So now I can say how many times in words. It's going to show me 2 times. So that means this words, which is a list, has this 2 times. So now you can see, can we use word set? Can we use count with set or with list? So I can see this, right? So it's no, we cannot use it, right? So you can use, because the moment you say, I'll make you understand 2 different things. The moment you say split is going to return a list. That means words is a list now. Now the moment I say words dot count, it's going to count, right, the number of times this is used, right? A number of times any particular word is used in a complete sentence, because you have first broken down sentence into list, right? What are you doing here? Sentence, and then you are saying sentence dot split. It's you're breaking down. Now this is an array, which is the list element 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now in the entire list, you tell me how many times. What is the count of this is? Means how many times is found in this, right? So that's what we are doing here. Now I want not only one, I want, because once you are looping through, right, first you will get this, then you will get this. So once you are looping through, you'll show every word, how many times every particular word is repeated in a sentence. Now you can see that is 2 times or 2 times, this is 1 time, and what's for 1 time. So this is how it actually works. And now we can find many times. For example, string manipulations are there. We have to find the longest word in the sentence, so that is also possible, right? And for example, we want to find the shortest word, right? Longest word is there, shortest word is there, and we have many different things. For example, I want to find the frequency, right? This is called the frequency. I forgot to tell you. Now what this count does here, so I'll repeat it here. So count is going to frequency, that how many times a particular word is repeated in a list, only list. We can run count with only a list. So this is what you have to remember, because then you start using this function with every single thing possible under you. Just like I was doing it wrong, because I knew sort is going to sort it down as per only sort when I don't apply any parameters, right? It's going to sort it down as per the character, right? So it's going to take, the small character first, and then the biggest, and the biggest in the list. But still I kept on trying. I don't know why even I tried for that, right? So it happens at times, so that's not a problem. We have to still carry on with what we have been learning, right? But yeah, anyways, we have to we know now that we can find the longest word, we can find the not only the longest word, we can find the shortest word, we can find the frequency of the word, right? Frequency, as I said earlier, how many times that a particular word has been repeated, right? And we can find many different things, right? I'll give you the lab exercise today, right? And then you'll come to know, right? What, for example, if I want to type the longest word, right? So for that, what I can do right here, so the longest word I have done, which one is the longest word right here? So you're already running it through the loop right here, right? You can see that. Now once you are running through the loop, you can see easily this is right? So longest word is, there are two longest words, right? Even three longest words. For example, I will say Pakistan. So it is the longest word. Why? Right? It's frequency. I'm showing frequency this time, right? So I don't have to show frequency, but I can say like this. So let me show you once again. Okay, once we have done split, we have splitted it into list. Now we have a list. All right, so as you know that now we have a list. So let's say long word length is initially 0, and then I go to for, right, and I say word in words. I run a loop which is for loop, right, and then I say if, right, if length, because count is going to show the frequency, how many times it's repeated, length is going to show me the total length of the word. I'll say if length of the word right here, now see the magic, is greater than long length, which is 0, right? Now every word, you can see this is 0 1, right, 0 1 0 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So now you can see every word here is greater than 0. If length of word, right, which is all the words that you're looping to, is greater than the long length. Now if you are having it that's greater than the long length, which is currently 0, right, you can say long length is equivalent to, now see the magic here, is equivalent to word. All right, so now the moment you loop through it, any word which is greater than is going to take the word that you're looping through and keep it in long, this long length, right? So then I'll say, right, or we can say long word, not the length, right? So long word is equivalent to the word, and long length, right, is equivalent to the length of the word, right? And then we can say, I think this should do, I'll say print outside the loop, I'll go and say print long word. Now let us see whether it works. Yeah, Pakistan. You can see the longest word here is Pakistan. For example, if I type any, Kazakh, K-I-S-T-A-N, Kazakhstan. So the longest now is Kazakhstan. Now what is happening here? Now once you see what split is doing, so I'll show you. Split will give you something like this, right? Like this, like this, like this. So this is going to be word element number 0. So that is what. Then you're going to have is. Then you're going to this, P-A-K-I-S-T-A-N. So let's say we have this now. What is this Pakistan, right? So now we have what is this Pakistan. We have 1 2 3. Now the moment you say split, it's going to split it like this. So now this is array element 0, this is list, or not the array, list element 0, list element 2, and we have 3 0 1 2 3. Then initially long length is 0. Once you go inside the loop, you're going to loop through words, right? How many times? 3 times the loop will run, and all 3 times the first is going to go here, that means what. Now the length of what, which is 0 1 2 3, is it greater than long length? Yeah, which is 0, it's greater, go ahead. Long word is equivalent to word. Which word is there? Right, which word is there? Which is the 0th word, that is what. Now long word has what, so let me write it here. Long word has what, right? And long length has the length of the word, so I can say here long length has the length 1 2 3 4, so it's the 4 length. Length will take it from 1 2 3 and 4, so it's going to be the 4. Now carry on. Now how much is long length? It is 4, right? So now long length here is 4, and which is the next word? That is mad. It is right? Okay, is greater than 4, which is not the case. Long length has 4. Word is next, is, that is 2. 2 is not greater than, no, carry on. Is goes into the long word, length of is 2, alright, which goes into the long length. And now long length is 2 and the long word is. Right, so this is how it is going to happen. Now the moment it finds this is 4, right? And this is, for example, let's say about Pakistan is here and this is here. So let's say, for example, Pakistan now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now long word is Pakistan here and the length is 8. Right? Initially it was how much? 4. Is 4 greater than 8? Right? Is 4 greater than 8? No, it is by no means greater than 8. So it is going to print the long word. So long length is going to be the length of word, which is going to be 8. Right? So now go again this THIS 4. Is 4 greater than 8? No. So this is how it is going to keep the long length. It doesn't matter wherever the long length and the long word is. So this is the program which is going to help you find the longest word, which is Pakistan in our case. It doesn't matter wherever Pakistan is, because you are going to take only this if is going to get executed only when in a loop. First time this. So this loop is going to run only when the next word is bigger than the previous word, which is simple. Otherwise the loop is going to run, right? All right. So now we have done this, right? Okay. Let me see. The frequency is also there, right? And I'll give you the question now, right? The longest sentence is done. Word occurrence is done, right? We have seen the word occurrence, right? Okay. Excluded words is also done. So, okay, we can say display. This is your question. Display the density, right, of each word. Display the density of each word in a long sentence. All right. So we can say and that word should not exist in the dictionary of long sentences. Now what I say, display the density of each word. For example, you have to display the density. If Pakistan is the longest word, how long is the Pakistan? Right? So that's what you have to display, right? And the Pakistan should not be existing in the dictionary. So what you have to do, you have to even take help from the dictionary, right? You have to display all the words and not the words which are in the dictionary. You don't have to display them, and plus you have to display the density of each word. For example, how big is this word from this and how big is from this. So this is what your question is. I repeat, display the density of each words, right? So density means how long a word is, and plus the word should not be in the existing dictionary, right? So it should not be in the dictionary of excluded keywords, right? For example, if I say, I'll tell you how will you able to understand this. So for example, if I say dog ran after the cat, all right? So you can say total the sentence is 100%, right? So this total sentence is 100% right here. And now you can say the density, you can say like this: cat is used 20.22%, right? And after, right, is used. So what is the density, right? So that's what you have to display, that density of each and every word. If you're not able to understand still, I'm going to show you this in the next class because time is not going to allow us today. I've already crossed the limited timeline given by you guys, so I'm at 1 hour 59 is already there. I wish you all the best. Do practice this. And yeah, sort was my mistake. Sort is not going to happen like that. Yeah, but still we are going to achieve it in many ways, which we shall be inshallah going through. And files, we had just started using files, so we are going to see many things using files in the concurrent classes or in the upcoming classes. Please complete this question right here. Density of the word, right? Wish you all the best. Bye bye. Take care. See you tomorrow.